Right. Dramatic music, thank you. So, I've returned to highlight some of the areas around retail, supply chain and manufacturing. As many of you here today know, are well aware, we have a very robust retail offering across Pronto XI, and especially those with franchise, under a franchise arrangement, and multi-stores and centralisation of inventory and so on. So I guess the theme of today, especially around 740, is around extending on the management of aspects of that, and also managing complex promotions and so on. And as well as a bit of an insight into the new look of a point of sale. So without further ado, let's delve into it. So first and foremost, let's take a quick look at the new point of sale skin. Woohoo. As you would no doubt agree, it's a very, I guess, a minimalistic, a clean, fresh view on point of sale. So there'll be a little bit more on some of the features and functions that we've introduced within here too. So enjoy the new POS skin. I'm sure there'll be many more to come. But one of the largest one of the largest developments within retail for 740 is around promotions. Back in 710, we introduced a fully integrated feature-rich promotions engine, which managed all your buy one, get one frees and multi-buys and various thresholds that you could define there. When for 740, we're now extending on the capability of promotions. So I guess the first feature is more or less a summary that yes, now promotions work with back orders. There's probably not much more to say with that one, but we've also enhanced the way that we display promotion discounts within the POS screens. There are some various threshold enhancements that I'll walk you through shortly. With supplier rebates, especially working in conjunction with promotions, what you can do now is define your promotions. Say, for instance, you wish to reduce a can of soft drink down to $1. You can, leveraging the supplier rebates function, have the supplier essentially pay for that promotion or fund that promotion, as it were. So this has been introduced as well as a pretty sophisticated coupons offering. That I'll show you shortly, and just some things around global item exclusions. But I guess to introduce some of the work that we've done within retail promotions, I'd like to introduce just a short video from our illustrious product manager, Mr. Les Brusanini, and he'll talk you through the 740 features.
So the retail landscape is changing and becoming more competitive, particularly with the successful launch of many international powerhouse retailers. With that in mind, we enhanced the Pronto XI promotions engine to give our customers a competitive edge. Some of our largest customers provided input on promotions they were running or would like to run to support sales and margin growth. An example of this is the way spend and save type promotions are set up. We improve the engine so that these types of promotions are set up and maintained consistent with the marketing message. With the successful adoption of the engine since the first release in 710, over time our customers have sought to use this function as a central point to manage all promotional activity. We listened to our customers and added the functionality to make this a reality and provide our customers with that competitive edge.
Thank you, Les. And yes, Les joins us today as well. So Les actually joined Pronto quite a few months ago now, but he's probably one of the newest additions, along with Chris Hughes, to the product management group. So we welcome Les. Please feel free to go and introduce yourself to Les during the lunchtime break. So with promotions for retail in 740, I guess one of the first areas there would be about how we display promotional discounts within point of sale. And by default in 740, promotion discounts will be displayed below the line when conducting those through the point of sale skin. Now, so as I just discussed, the promotion there is shown below the sale line as a separate value. In 740, what we're doing now is optionally allowing our customers to show our promotions either below the line or above the line. Okay, so it's a pretty straightforward change, but obviously it's a change that has a very welcome change and something that our retail clients have been looking for. So a little bit of an enhancement there around discount displays, and with that, we're also extending on the threshold capability when we're defining our promotions as well. So way back in 710, when we introduced these thresholds for our promotions, we had our thresholds defined with this menu option here. We could do this by discount by dollar amount and discount by percentage. Now added the capability as a threshold at an item level, by dollar amount, by percentage, and by price as well. So pretty much catering for every permutation and of a threshold definition within your promotions. Extending on that, obviously there are times where we need to define our promotions in a manner that we can reflect that essentially reflects our marketing campaigns, i.e. Spend more money, you save more money, which seems to be a pretty popular theme at the moment. So for that purpose, 740 introduces just that. And obviously we're looking at, for instance, the exclusivity of these particular promotions. So in 740 now, once we've defined our promotion thresholds of, i.e. how much we spend, will then result in how much discount is provided. There's an exclusivity flag there, which means now if I, for instance, spend $150 or above, I'll end up with a $50 discount, which means that only one promotion will apply if I have that exclusivity set to yes. Otherwise, it will be combined. So a welcome addition within promotions. Okay, I introduced earlier on coupons, and with 740 we've introduced a pretty robust coupon capability and tracking of redemptions of those. So for 740 you can come into the promotions elements here and maintain your coupons and now create single or multi-use coupons over a given time frame with various expiry dates and so forth. And these are all tracked individually. And ultimately, the aim here is to provide something with a bit more visibility around redemption. And for that purpose, we have a full audit trail of those occurrences of redemption as to when these particular coupons were redeemed. Okay. And obviously at times when we're managing our promotions, there are, due to legislation reasons, there are situations where we cannot promote certain items. They may be tobacco items or liquor items or otherwise. So for that purpose, we've introduced a global item exclusion. And I guess for an example here, it would be for Apple products that are never on sale, and obviously for gift cards that logically you would not wish to discount. So you can define all your global exclusions within this area here. So getting back to our beautiful, elegant, simplistic, clean point of sale skin, as you can see here, there's just been a few little enhancements that we've delivered here just to make the point of sale user's life a little easier and provide a bit more information and automation here as well. For some time, as Gary pointed out, with paperless offices and so on, where situations where people are reluctant to keep receipts because obviously they fade in the sun and they're useless when it comes to getting refunds. So I guess for that purpose, we're now allowing our retail users to either print or email receipts at that point of sale point, or do neither if that is a requirement as well. So obviously there's not always a need to keep your coupon for a can of Coke. So your receipt, I should say. So you can do that all via that POS skin. As well as understanding the profile, the characteristics of the customers that you're engaging with. So gathering intelligence and gathering buying details on buying habits for your individual customers is important within the retail world. So for that purpose, we're introducing capability out of the box of capturing attributes at the time of point of sale. Now, what this means is that you can start profiling your customers, you can start leveraging this information within the realms of CRM and to be able to do some data mining on your customers based on certain attributes and certain things that they purchase, and then you can do some direct marketing campaigns to these individuals as well. So some good information that you're capturing throughout this customer profiling instance. So There's some attribute stuff here, as well as understanding their buying history. So in 740, now we're now bringing or opening up some information on customer buying habits. So as we're transacting, there's an option here to bring up their recent purchasing history or buying history. And you'll note here too, obviously you've got an understanding of what they purchased, when they purchased, for how much, but also an understanding of how they're buying. Are they buying more online? Are they walking into your store and so on? And so how active are they within these realms? So different conversations that you can have with your customers around upselling and obviously the purchase of accessories to items that they've previously purchased. So some good stuff around customer engagement in 740. As I introduced about when we're managing large franchises or multiple stores in remote areas, obviously aspects of managing communications between them and obviously getting to the theme of maximum uptime that Gary was talking about earlier. We, for some time now, since 710, have provided our retail customers with what is known as AT mode or auxiliary trading mode. Essentially, AT mode is offline trading when the connection is lost. So, i.e., connection from the retail store to the head office. And so each of this development here managed the exceptions whereby stores would potentially go offline, and then there would be a resyncing option to resync the data from head office out to the retail store and vice versa. So in 740, we've enhanced this area. We've delivered more breadth and depth to auxiliary trading mode. There's some good stuff around exception reporting that I'll show you shortly, and how to manage issues via a head office console. As well as introducing some configuration options here around, say for instance, if 99% of the time you are transacting with cash using your cash sale account, there really isn't a requirement to synchronize your other customer account data. So there's a configuration option for you to turn that off, which obviously will then expedite your synchronization process. But ultimately, auxiliary trading mode is all about the stability of your system, about reducing errors, about reducing synchronization issues, and eliminating manual processes. So what have we done in 740? Well, if you look on the screen there, we're introducing a head office console screen. This essentially, first of all, if we start from the top left, looks at your terminal health or your terminal statuses. How many terminals are up? How many terminals are offline? And you can drill through using those little arrows there to diagnose the issue and resolve issues as you go. Through to terminal transaction status. So how many times has AT mode been called over the last 24 hours? And again, managing these issues through drill back. Through to managing all your inbound and outbound queues. And ultimately, down here through AT mode exceptions. So if you're, say for instance, if you're a manufacturer, you'd know exception reporting within MRP and so on. But similarly here within AT mode, where you can diagnose issues. Obviously, the exceptions are all interacting with alert intelligence too. So if people externally need to be notified, or even internally for that matter, they can do so using AT mode in conjunction with alert intelligence. So this is all about health of terminals and diagnosis of issues and resolving them as they occur. So that's the retail world for now for 740. Once again, there's other features and functions that are available, and you can read about those within the marketing advisory. So without further ado, let's delve into the world of supply chain. So with supply chain in 740, I guess the focus has really been about visibility of performance data relating to inventory and sales. And I'll show you what we've done very, very shortly around sales and inventory KPI analysis. So really leveraging the strength of the KPI library that has been, once again, another significant development within 740 that we're very, very proud of. As well through to some automation that we've delivered within the sales order module too. So Look forward to seeing a little bit of that shortly, as well as some stuff in forecasting that we've delivered to make forecasting a little bit easier, a little easier to manage, and also the introduction of certain data grids across our RF management when we're managing our pickers across our warehouse. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Sales and Inventory KPI Analysis Report. This is, what you're seeing here is Cognos 10.2.2. And what you're looking at here is real time in terms of we're working with, as was mentioned earlier, pre-aggregated data. So as you can see, it's very, very quick. And also we're dealing with data with drill paths that are already mapped for us. So therefore, we can view a top level view, say at product group or brand, and drill right down to the lowest level, being stock code if that need be, to substantiate that top level view. It will create more context and substantiation for that matter. And obviously using multiple metrics, as Paul was talking about earlier, multiple snapshots, you leverage the KPI metrics and also here, so KPI metrics, month to date, last year, month to date, and so forth. Draw these into this particular dashboard, or otherwise known as a report. And from here, if those that are familiar with Cognos would understand conditional formatting, you can do so within this particular sales and inventory KPI analysis report. For that matter, it might be, in this condition, it might be any value less than 100,000, make it red, and then have this represented within our cross-tab view. We can also leverage existing filters, so to filter out and filter in various aspects using those particular hierarchies that we're familiar with within our inventory master records, and invoke certain groups of items. Once we hit apply, then obviously our data representation will change. We're looking at a graphical view and a cross-tabular view as well. So for instance, more time-based comparisons, use your snapshots. You can take as many snapshots of data as you like and draw in those snapshots. Obviously, change our analysis type. So in this case, we may say that we will wish to do analysis by group and by time. Once again, all real time. As you can see, it's nice and quick using that pre-aggregated data. We're now looking at a cross-tab view. We can see our conditional formatting being invoked here, so we can capture details of areas of concern that we can then start to manage. And also from a visual standpoint, we can see from our graph there's a bit of a dip in sales over March and April, so we can start making decisions about promotions and so forth that we can kick off in February to boost sales. So we're really, really proud of this piece of functionality here. It's a bit of a game changer, especially for those that are deep into making decisions around supply chain and so forth. There'll be more of this, as you've seen with workspaces, and this is a fantastic addition to the strength of the supply chain capabilities in Pronto XI. With as I mentioned earlier, around automation, for a little while now, there's been a call for some method of invoicing, recurring invoicing, without the need for service contracts and so forth. I think one or two questions have been asked on the forum already around this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have introduced in version 740 recurring sales orders. This is ideal for contract style billing. It might be for management fees, for cleaning fees, for a fruit box that gets delivered to work each week. It could be for a multitude of purposes, as well as invoicing stock items and stock items that are generally manufactured or sourced. And so I'll talk about that shortly. But here with recurring sales orders, it leverages the existing pro forma invoicing capability. So you raise your pro forma invoices, which essentially is the start of an overall contract template. As an aside, it also works in conjunction with project if you need it to. So when I create my pro forma, I can nominate my project code and cost category, and it will then align and funnel that revenue via that income cost category against your project. when I mentioned, as you can see here, using up-to-date pricing essentially means that it will draw, if I have a 12-month contract invoicing recurrence schedule, as it were, it might be that the price of a particular item on that line changes over time. The way that this works, leveraging application services to automate the invoicing function, at that point of time in the future, it will refer to the latest either promotional price or special price that you've got defined against that item and pass that price to the sales order line at raising of the invoice. So that is pretty cool as well. And obviously, ultimately, we wanted to provide something that was just simply easy to use and easy to set up. So as you can see here, within here, it's a bit like raising a recurring meeting within Outlook for those that do that often. So as you simply nominate the level of recurrence, start date and end date of the overall schedule that you wish to raise, and you can be many, many months and periods into the future. Just a quick note here at the very top there, you'll notice field order days. This is essentially lead time that you can define. Everything from setting a basic lead time value against a stock item is catered for here, right through to different lead time rules for different types of stock codes that you would normally sell. For instance, it will then, if I set this to a certain value, it'll raise, in this case, 7 days. It will raise the invoice 7 days in advance of its due date. And ultimately, you can define, as I mentioned, different lead date times for different types of items you wish to sell. So, with that in mind, once you've defined your recurrence, once you've defined your recurrence schedule, it will create orders for you automatically using application services. So there's not much to do once that template has been set up. As I mentioned, it works for promotional pricing and special pricing. And those user-defined lead times can be catered for as well. But ultimately, if you're managing multiple recurrences for multiple customers, and some of these are more or less repeated templates, you can simply copy an existing template to a new customer, new time frame, and you're away. We've tried to make this as simple and easy to use as possible, but there's a lot of strength in this particular feature. And ultimately, if you need to notify your customers that an order has been created, leverage the alert intelligence system to send out a notification of that event. So, welcome to automated invoicing within Pronto software. Okay. Before I finish off, there's a few enhancements, a few continuous improvement projects that we've delivered across further aspects of the supply chain. If we now look at RF picking defaults, those that are managing large warehouses and many, many pickers and packers and so forth have got to manage certain preferences against them. At times, it's been difficult to, compare each of these preferences against each of those pickers and packers. So traditionally, you would come into this screen and arrow down until you found the one you want. In 740, you come into a nice, neat little data grid, which means you can leverage the strength of data grids that you're all comfortable with, column sorting and filtering, create your own views, to reduce and filter out individuals. What this means is now you can come into this area, it will then allow you to perform those functions, do those comparisons, closed box, own box, multi-boxes and the like, and then it will take you back into this screen where you can do your corrections and you're away. So another way of enriching users' lives using data grids across Pronto. People love them, we love them, our customers love them, and you'll be seeing more of them as well. Okay, in advanced forecasting, we've also delivered some neat features to manage your individual forecast methods and also managing changes to forecasts that you've generated. So first and foremost, getting back to our activation and inactivation theme that we've been talking through today, you have the ability now in 740 to deactivate certain forecast methods. It might be for your organisation a certain forecasting method is just not relevant. So switch it off using this feature here, using this table. Once you've done so, obviously it will make your entire forecasting process, generation process, a bit quicker, and you'll have less forecasting results to manage at the end of the day. So just a nice little addition for advanced forecasting there in activation and deactivation. You've always had the ability to obviously create forecast records in bulk. Well, now in version 740, you can maintain them in bulk as well. So there's a screen here with various parameters that allow you to isolate individual forecast results to bulk maintain. There's obviously, much like most of our update functions across Pronto, there's a review option, so you don't accidentally update them without reviewing them first. So that is available there as well. And when you are forecasting a new item within Pronto, as part of previous versions, you could obviously leverage the sales history, the forecast results of a similar item in existence. Now you can obviously, in this particular screen here, link a new item that's sold out of a new warehouse to a like item in a completely different warehouse. So we've opened up this area for forecast item history link as well. So that covers the supply chain. I'll just finish off on manufacturing now and what we've delivered across work orders, what we've delivered in bills of materials and manufacturing planning, specifically MPS. As I mentioned, just a few little enhancements here around the introduction of data grids, just bringing to life some of this information and some of the data structures that you've got here. MPS data grid allows you to do all the normal things you'd expect, such as drill through to pegging and receipts and forecasting, and drill through to MPS results. And also the new data grid for MPS allows you to set the work order status to either firm, planned or committed via this screen. So a nice little addition. And similarly to when you're dealing with many bills of materials, with many sub-assemblies, it's quite often difficult to manage this via a single view, but obviously a neat little data grid there that shows all those relationships and interrelationships has been introduced in 740 to help you visualize your sub-assemblies and your master assemblies as well. So some nice additions for data grids across manufacturing, as well as some continuous improvements around bill of material changes. So to improve the auditing capability from a bill of materials standpoint, we've introduced a BOM audit, as it were. A bill of material audit will capture any changes at a header level, at a component or detail level within your bill of material, and obviously show any of those inserts and updates that have occurred across that version of a bill of material for you, who did them and when. So lots of information there for you to glean and managing multiple bills of materials. And obviously, to add to the strength of and the theme of 360-degree visibility across Pronto, we're introducing capability to get GL access from the work order itself to see exactly how your production has been posted. So if we come now into the production detail screen, you can view from this point in time. Step back here. You can drill right into the GL details to see exactly how it posted to the GL, right through to the stock movements if need be, all from your work order in manufacturing. And finally, for manufacturing, we've introduced the capability of a bulk work order issue change. So from here, you can do bulk work order issues or items to your work orders automatically at various statuses, whether automatically or obviously manually too. And by saying manually, it simply means that it will raise picking slips so your shop floor staff can go pick the stock for when the various routings are due. That is a whirlwind tour of supply chain, manufacturing and retail. Again, please refer to the marketing advisory for further details, but I thank you, and now I will pass back to Mr. Chad Gates